the Wolves finally show up in a fourth quarter in this series. And, well, I mean, they did show up in previous fourth quarters, but they finally are able to get the job done in the fourth this time. And what a game from Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards with 29, 10, and 9, 6 turnovers. Karl Anthony Towns with 25, 5, and 1 with 4 turnovers. But they were pretty clutch. Towns with 3 3-pointers in the fourth. Anthony Edwards with the dagger and 3 assists. And Rudy Gobert was really solid in the fourth quarter besides the free throw shooting. But they were able to get it done. And they were able to do a little better defensively. There was a little more Ant-Man on Luka, especially to start the game, and Jaden McDaniels on Kyrie. Whereas, obviously, Kyrie had his worst game of the series, 16 points on 6 of 18 shooting, couldn't get it going, even in the fourth quarter. And, I mean, that was essentially the difference, right? Karl Anthony Towns made his shots in the fourth, while Kyrie and Luka didn't make their shots in the fourth, didn't make the tough shots that they've been making all series. And I don't think, right, like, Ant on Luka is like a good adjustment or anything, but I don't know, maybe you should have more McDaniels on Kyrie to bother him a little bit more, right? Because you're not gonna be able to stop Luka. It's that he either misses or gets a little too cocky. And I mean, you rarely force him into shots he doesn't like, right? Doesn't mean you don't force him into tough shots, but he's been making those all series long. But to be fair, Kyrie has been making a ton of those all series long too. But we'll see what happens there, right? They were obviously missing Derek Lively, who's been probably their, if I'm keeping it a buck, third most important player in this series, right? With the rim protection and everything, I would say he has been their third most important player in this series. And that was huge. And off the bench, right, Dwight Powell is pretty much washed. So now Maxi Kleber coming back from an injury, he was clearly rusty. So that's not obviously a nice game to ease yourself into it when you're playing against the most desperate type of teams, right? But Jaden Hardy, shout out to him. He, if the Mavs make the finals, which still is the most likely outcome of this series, I think he's gonna have a moment in the finals, man. I'm really impressed with Jaden Hardy and his confidence. But at the end of the day, the Mavs didn't shoot the ball well. They lost the rebounding battle. Obviously, the turnovers were in the favor of them, and obviously the points of turnovers were in the favor of them. But that was more about the Timberwolves to me than the Dallas Mavericks today, because I feel like the Timberwolves, gave them too many chances in this game at the end of the day with those turnovers. And I mean, it was their three most important players when you think about it. More Kyle Anderson, which I thought is nice. I think he gives Luka at the end of the day the most trouble in a way, because he plays so slow, right, and the length and the weirdness of him makes Luka a little bit uncomfortable in my opinion. So I like that he got more minutes. Naz Reid, I still feel like he maybe should play more minutes than Rudy, honestly, or you should play Rudy less. But with Towns in foul trouble today, right, it was a little harder, and then he got going in the fourth, and he fouled out, so that was tough. But I mean, Jaden McDaniels, another great, overall game in my opinion, with 10 points, 1 rebound, 0 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. I just feel like his impact is just incredible on the court, and he's proven you in these playoffs that he's, someone you should be really excited and ecstatic about for the future. And yeah, I mean, it was all about the late game execution, right? At the end of the day, I would say. Um, we'll see if they try more and more end on Luka and Jaden on Kyrie. But I mean, if Luka and Kyrie, I mean, you could say that Jaden obviously influenced both these players today and their shooting, but it was still a really close game where, in my opinion, the Mavs had no business, of being in a way, with the way they shot the ball and the way the T-Wolves shot the ball. Obviously, they shot 53% from the field, 46% from the 3-point line. But they were still right there till the end, right? And few buckets go your way, we could be talking about a sweep. But I do find it really funny, right? In this scenario where the T-Wolves are heading home. So you're like, yeah, they're gonna win that home game, right? Even though they've lost both these home games, and the Mavs have not lost a game after, they have not lost back-to-back games in these playoffs. So that's gonna be really intriguing to watch. because the shift in this series, right? 3-0, now you're headed back home. If you win these both games, you not only break the Dallas streak of not losing back-to-back games, you also head back to Dallas, where it's like Dallas has to win because they would be heading to Game 7 back to Minnesota. But I mean, no one's ever done it. Will they have enough energy in Game 7? Right, we saw it last year with the Celtics. It's a really fascinating scenario, and it's kind of funny that it happened back to back years in a way, right? Where you could see this, going 7 after this game. You could see it happening. Uh, but I mean, obviously, it's hard to see anyone coming back from 3-0 down in this sport at the end of the day. But maybe the Tivos can be the team. Maybe they can. More Kyle Anderson, I would continue with that. I still would like to see less Rudy Gobert, but I mean, he was better today overall. He was a little better, more feisty, and I still don't like him. Fake bully, man. Or, I mean, not a bully, but he seems just like, I don't think he's fake, but he just seems unsympathetic on the court to me. Uh, and obviously, of course, stuff. Some of it is distasteful also. So, at the end of the day, that's my opinion. If you like Rudy, I'm not taking it away from you. But that's that. Um, but the complaining in this series has been intriguing, right? It's kind of funny that to me the T-Wolves complain more than the Mavs, which is hilarious, right? Luka, I said the shift, in his tone after Game 4 in OKC. I mean, against OKC, but um, yeah, I think the complaining has just gotten worse and worse every year in the NBA from all over the place, right? The coaches complain, the GMs complain, the assistants complain, the bench complains, the players complain, and I understand it, right? The refs are unbearable sometimes, but it feels like it has gone a little bit overboard. But shit, I guess you need to go a little bit overboard to make a real change, I suppose. I don't know. But those are just some theses. We have game 5 on Friday, or I mean on Thursday, but for me it's Friday morning. I'll be here to cover it after that. And we'll see if the Mavs can close it out in 5 or if we'll head back to Dallas. I mean, Mavs in 6 could still happen, right? Mavs in 6 in every series, like I predicted. So we'll see what happens there, and I'll be here to cover it as always, obviously. And be kind to yourself and to others. Stand on our morals. Um, Try to be as empathetic as possible. And let me just say, free Palestine, free Congo, free the oppressed, man. And free the oppressed, man. I know this is uh, shit, my voice doesn't matter, but as soon as I'm getting more money and as soon as I can, I'll be trying to do some real work out there for for those people. But uh, I just need to work a little bit more on myself. But doesn't mean I can at least speak out and speak on it, even though I know my voice is not that loud in any space really, but it's something that just my heart aches to do. So free Palestine, free the oppressed, and as always, uh, shine your light on the world. I'll catch you all on Friday.